No, I honestly I get the same thing too. Oh my god, your voice is annoying. How can anyone listen to that? It's like, why?
I get comments where it's like my existence is like an inconvenience to them, where it's like, I would love to get into this guy's content, but I just can't because his voice makes me want to stab pins in my eyes. And I'm like, well, how is that my problem?
Is
That
there
can't
like
possibly be my problem. That has to be your
yeah,
problem.
no, yeah, 100%.
That cannot be a me problem. That is out of my domain.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Hot PVM, the show where the questions are spicy and the gameplay is sus. Each episode, I'm going to invite some of your favorite RuneScape content creators to PVM with me and answer questions in the hot seat. This week, we're hanging out with RsGuy, RuneScape's biggest content creator and defeater of outstanding feats and challenges. The RsGuy is enthusiastic about content creation and making sure RuneScape is accessible to everyone. He is deeply devoted to his family and scarily good at multitasking. With over 67,000 subscribers on YouTube and 54,000 followers on Twitch, he is an absolute powerhouse in the RuneScape community. Oh, and he's a mod, by the way. But he's so much more than that. Don't just take my word for it. Let's hear it from RsGuy himself. I'm your host, Ashley, and this is Hot PVM.
Do I get like a score at the end? Does it do your comments? Do they like rate how I was as a guest?
If we can do that, certainly. I'm sure
I don't
you'd
think
get,
I
like...
want that.
No, they'd be totally nice, right?
Surely.
I've been taking necromancy.
Me too. It's just easier.
Yeah.
I'm here to have an easy time and a good conversation. I am not here to get an RSI spamming melee or ranged or magic switches.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, by the way. I was very surprised when you were like, yeah, I'll come on. I was like, oh no. Now I actually have to do this.
You're welcome for the stress. No, I'm super happy to be on. I always enjoy getting to chat with people and chat with creators and people in the community. So I'm always super down. So I appreciate that you asked, and yeah, happy to be here.
Oh god. My split soul is next to my barricade, and guess which one I clicked first?
Well, it's good. Wait, so you're cated and you didn't even hit me with an intercept?
Nothing can touch me.
Wait a second. Okay, -1 team points. No intercept or anything. You're
oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm actually...
Yeah, I understand. I see how it is.
You're on your own. So, I do have a few questions.
Perfect. I was expecting this.
Now, I haven't always, well, I'm not like, I've never been, oh my bad. I've never been a huge like Twitch consumer. So I don't know all about your history and everything. I did watch some of your videos, but how long have you been playing RuneScape? And, oh goodness, why do you still play it?
Ooh, good question. I've been playing RuneScape for almost probably 19 years now, actually, which sounds crazy to say, but I made this account that you're PVMing with right now. I made it when I was 7 years old, because I had my best friend in like elementary school. His older brother and him shared an account, so they kind of got me into the game, and I played free to play only for like 6 or 7 or 8 years, and then yeah, on the streaming front, I've been streaming on Twitch for, wow, time flies. I've been partnered for 7 years. I've been streaming for 9.
Oh my gosh.
That makes me feel really old.
Holy.
Yes, I've been streaming on Twitch for 9 years.
And what keeps you interested in RuneScape?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think when I like started playing RuneScape, like I was like completely fully like the most locked into RuneScape that a person could be. Like it was genuinely like if you were asking like a stranger to say like 10 things about me,
yeah,
like the second or third thing would be like he talks about RuneScape a lot, like possibly a little too much. Like I really grew up on the game. And I grew up idolizing content creators and especially YouTubers kind of starting out, like Bodhi and kind of all of those people that were playing. So I kind of grew up as a kid, as a young kid and into my early teens as someone that was always like, this is the coolest thing ever, that these people are so charismatic and they can just talk and people watch. And I was like, this is the coolest, greatest thing ever. Like, I wish I could be that. So that's sort of what started with my kind of content creation journey and really kind of pushed me in RuneScape to kind of progress and really get into it. So I think I would have quit RuneScape 8 years ago without being a content creator.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes when I say that, people go, oh, so like you don't like the game, you're just in it for like that. But I've found being a RuneScape content creator, like I found it really rewarding. It's really, really fun. And I love using RuneScape as a way to tell stories and make people happy, hopefully. Make some people very, very upset. And yeah, so I think that's really why I still play. Is I'm now in a position where I think I have an opportunity to really impact the future of RuneScape and impact the culture of RuneScape, and like that's my dream. That's always been my dream.
Yeah. So that has been your dream.
Always.
Yeah. Oh, what a horrible time to get the.
Yeah, I know, not the best, but we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
That was literally one of my questions, was if this was like your dream, because I kind of had a feeling it was. And
like,
I mean that in the best way.
Or like possible. In general.
Just everything, like RuneScape, being a JMOD, like having an impact on the game. Like I kind of like, it feels like that was kind of like your dream, but I wasn't sure, so I was gonna ask.
It's something I've wanted for a long. So being a JMOD's an interesting one, because I think like a lot of people grow up and they're like, one day I want to be a JMOD. So
yeah.
Cool. But then it's like, turns out to get a job you need to be qualified to get a job, and 30,000 hours in RuneScape does not actually count as a job qualification. But I think on the creator front, like I think I was put on this earth to be a content creator.
Yeah.
I'm completely self-taught with everything, with my streaming, with my YouTube, with my editing, with how I run my business, with literally everything. And I've loved every single aspect of it. And I found it to be so rewarding, like the opportunities that I've had to learn, to grow, to kind of expand my repertoire, where it's so crazy for me looking back at me starting to edit for the first time as a 14-year-old. And now it's like, the work that I've done has now resulted in me getting a full-time job, and I have a relationship with YouTube, and I have a relationship with Twitch. And I look back and I'm like, how the heck did that happen? Because like, I've just kind of been trying my best this whole time, and that's it, you know? Like there hasn't been, it's a really, really unlikely pathway, I think. But yeah, on the content creator stuff, it's honestly, it's kind of a little stressful because of how much I care about it. Because like when I get bad comments and when I get, by the way, we PR'd, so you may have carried me there.
You
when
PR'd?
I get, yeah, that was a PR for me.
Oh, no kidding.
Don't ask me my normal mode kill count, but that was a PR for me. But it's one of those things where I probably care a little bit too much.
Yeah.
And that can be a negative thing. Because like, yeah, when I get nasty comments or people saying that I'm like manipulative or I'm actually like this awful person that's, you know, like everybody gets them, and I obviously get lots of them, and they're way outweighed by the positive ones. But I find sometimes I can really take it to heart, where like my gut reaction is like, no, I'm gonna prove to them that that's not me, and that's not, and it's just like, it's really, really stupid, because it doesn't matter what I do or I don't do, they're gonna send that comment.
Yeah, it literally doesn't matter.
But it's one of those things. So on the creator side, that's me. Like that's the first thing I think about when I think about like my actual like self and what I am and who I am. That's me. The JMOD stuff you touched on as well. I don't know if you wanted me to get into that.
Yeah,
but I'm happy to.
What's it like being a JMOD?
This is my first time talking about this, by the way. My first time publicly talking about this in any capacity.
Oh, goodness. Exclusive.
It's really interesting. Like it is just so surreal. Like I've now worked over a month now.
I know.
It is so surreal. The differences between working like a 9 to 5 kind of job versus, you know, what I've done up to this point in my life. it is just a completely different ball game, and I think I'm getting used to it pretty well. But I think what I can say about the work itself is, um, I love it, and I love the team that I'm working on. So I'm working on the community team, and everybody on that team is incredibly nice and kind and caring, and really like they're good people, and that's really important to me. And this thing wouldn't have lasted very long if that wasn't the case. It'd be a very short-lived experience for me. So
Yeah.
that's one thing I'll say about it is I have been really, really happy just kind of settling in, getting set. But it's also kind of a stressful thing for me because I've mentioned this too, like I care a lot about being a content creator and I love that, and it's really, really important to me. So it's been weird for the first time in my life actually having to shift my priorities and focus on something that isn't my own content creation. So that's been really, really interesting, but it's been very rewarding as well. Like I have zero regrets, and it's a pretty big risk taking a role, like taking a full-time role when you're a creator. At least I felt like it was, because usually being a content creator is a pretty fleeting thing. Like if you look at the average job length or length of time someone has the ability to do what I think is the greatest job in the world, usually not very long. It's like a year or two. And there's always been this fear in me that one day like people are just gonna kind of lose interest. And I definitely know there's gonna be an impact, or there has already been an impact on what I can do as a content creator when I have so much less time.
Yeah.
So that's definitely all that to say, like everything that I have done here, it is not something that I like. It was a big, difficult decision to make. It wasn't something that I was like instantaneously like, yes, let's do this. This is perfect. This is going to be great.
Oh yeah.
But I was approached. And I felt like I was going to be put in a position to really be able to have an impact contingent on a couple things. So I think it's hard to have this conversation without also touching on, like, everybody knows this, and I don't want to like beat a dead horse, but like, being a RuneScape creator, it's not perfect out here. And there are lots and lots of years of kind of not so good situations or not so good opportunities or all of the rest. And I think I got to a point where I am now, in a position to be able to actually help that, not just for me as a creator, but for everybody. And that was an opportunity I couldn't say no to, because there's impact there that is so far beyond just me and my own little team and my own little bubble. And that was what really drew me to the role more than anything else, is
the reach.
The reach and the opportunity there. And I also really like a challenge. And I felt for a long time, like, I mean, I'm sure you can speak to this and you know this, but being a creator, even though it's like the greatest job in the world and it's like very self-guided and you can make your own hours and everything else, and it's like, it sounds really, really cool. When you do it for 10 years, it really burns you out, because I need to find things that I'm enjoying doing and I'm having fun doing within one tiny game for a decade. And even if I'm 80% one day, there are instantly comments in the Twitch chat like, "Oh, Ryan seems off today," or like, I don't know, like I had someone messaging, like not even messaging me, messaging my friends to check up on me because I got a drop and I didn't react aggressively. And it's like, it's just hard to do that every day.
Like, you're a human,
as a human being,
yeah.
You cannot do that. Some days it's just not happening. Some days it's just not the day every day. It can't possibly be. So that aspect of it too, like the challenge of doing something else, it's been really, really good for me. I've been absolutely loving it. So even though like my dream was never to be a JMOD, it was to be a creator, and I feel like I've kind of done that. I really now, as an adult, I'm glad I took the role. I'm glad I'm doing it, but it's also a big change with regard to pretty much everything in my life. Every single aspect of my life has been hugely impacted by it.
Yeah.
Because the creator Ryan was really running things for a long time.
Well, you still seem to be like very heavily into that, even on as a JMOD. I know you're going to be focused on the creator space and having an impact on not just what creators are able to do as in terms of like working with the JMODs and and content as well, future content. But you're doing a lot of creator stuff, it seems, though, as a JMod.
Creator stuff is in my own stuff, or creator stuff is in
For
stuff with other
RuneScape?
creators? Oh, for RuneScape, yeah. So it's kind of interesting because yeah, like I did a Sanctum of, I missed that, I'm sorry, a Sanctum of Rebirth related thing where I was involved and it was a creator thing. Technically, that's not really what I'm there to do at all.
Yeah.
That was sort of a situation where I saw an opportunity to do something for creators or to help with something for creators, and I kind of jumped on it, and I'm fortunately in a place where there is like a lot of like it's kind of a unique situation to be someone that knows a lot of the devs and a lot of the people that work on the game and a lot of the executives, and I've got like a business relationship with basically everybody. So it's really weird to join the company because there's a lot of people want my input on a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense. And while I've been onboarding, it's been really nice being able to just say yes to everything. And, I'm kind of running around everywhere. I'm doing stuff like, I got to help out a bunch with the Sanctum of Rebirth, actually, which was really, really cool. And I've had a chance to help out with like Group Iron Man stuff and stuff for, some other stuff that's coming out soon. That I'm not going to make you have to redact in post. I'm just not going to say it. But it's one of those things where my boss was like, by the way, Ryan, like before I even started, he was like, everyone wants your input on everything. And
That's
he's
so
like,
great.
First couple weeks, first month, you're good. Say yes, build the relationships. Like, that's great. That's awesome. That's what you should be doing. After that, you need to just start saying no.
Mm-hmm.
As much as it's going to pain you to do, because I know you care and you want to make everything you want your input on everything if you think you can make it come out better.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm now in that phase where it's like, it's been awesome. And I now need to start shutting people down and saying no, or just not having time for things. So yeah, everything about the Sanctum was like very specific to, I'm onboarding, I can do this. And that isn't going to be a thing in the future. But hopefully the work that I did with regard to the Sanctum and with creators, it's all really, really well documented so that technically speaking, anybody could do it. And I think there's a good case there that it would be awesome if it was something that continued on as a thing. It is likely to not be me actually being the person running the thing. But I was there to prove the value there, if that makes sense.
No, that was really awesome. Did not expect you guys doing that for us, the creator showcase. That was really cool. Already seeing your impact over there,
It's not like a huge thing, but
yeah,
I was glad as a proof of concept. Like, I just think in general that RuneScape needs to be doing more with their creators. And there are a lot of reasons to this too. It's not just because RuneScape creators are important, because RuneScape creators are important and they need to be treated like they're important and have a huge impact on the game and on who plays the game, and people follow creators. Like, after the Hero Pass situation where a lot of creators left, guess what? A lot of the viewers of those creators left too. Like, it's really, really important. Yeah. But so yeah, it's not just like Ryan's a creator, he wants to do stuff for creators to make stuff better for creators because he's a creator. It's really, really important to the game. And I think just the fact that I was brought on, hired external, working from Canada in the way that I was is a proof that there's a lot of desire to work with creators, make things better with creators, and then improve the relationship with creators. So that was the whole idea behind the showcase was, will this give a boost to the creators we showcase, and will this give a boost to the whole Twitch directory? And it looks like it did. So
it felt like it did. There was
really, really keen.
A lot of people in there.
I'd be really, really keen to see it continue happening. Maybe it's a little tradition whenever there's a content release. There's a little creator showcase. It was too bad. I felt bad only being able to pick 3 creators for it. Yeah. I will also say the selection process. I mean, I've gone through this. I think I went over this with you, but it is not a selection process where I'm just picking people. Obviously, that would not be good. I'm working with the CM team, and there's a lot of decision making. It's not just like, oh, Ryan's doing stuff. But yeah, the idea for this one, it was on such short notice to even be doing any of that. The whole stream and the whole idea, it was put together in a couple days. But in the future, it's something where I would love it if 10 people, 10 creators, 20-minute sections, back to back to back to back to back, and just cycle through a whole bunch of people. But yeah, that's
it was
sort of
actually
how that
really
came to be.
Interesting getting to hear kind of how the selection process goes, because a lot of people outside of it kind of see it as, oh, you know, favoritism, or, you know, that's just one person kind of like making decisions. And it's not even just it's not a Jagex thing. I mean, I've played other games and seen, you know, how they kind of interact and work with their creators as well. And it is kind of the same thing where it's usually, you know, it's been like a few people getting opportunities, and a lot of people kind of like, it doesn't feel good, you know? So it's like really cool to see the transparency on that, and like have the open communication with you guys. And
it's not even a games industry thing. It's a human psychology thing where if you don't know the answer to something, it's really, really easy to fill in the gaps with what you know. And the issue with that a lot of the time is, you know, a lot of people have a lot of kind of preconceived notions about a lot of things, as we do. So I don't think it's so much that there has been a bad situation with how selection has been done. It's not like I went in and changed anything about that process for the most part. But I know as a creator, it has bugged me a lot not knowing anything about how anything is working. So one of the really important things in my role that I have the chance to do is document everything, create internal processes for everything, so that no matter where I am or what I'm doing, it's going to be done in a way that is fair.
Yeah.
And that's really important. And it means that, like, this is something too, like, as someone who's been a RuneScape creator forever, but drink every time I say creator, oh my goodness, it's a problem. A RuneScape YouTube and Twitch and occasionally TikTok person, let's do that instead. There are a lot of gripes that I have. There have been a lot of not so good experiences that I've had. There are a lot of, and especially for me in some of the positions I've been put in the past have not been good and have not been fair to myself as, you know, as the talent that was used for things. So I think it's actually, that's a sort of another thing that I've had a chance to really do, is like, I didn't join to say everything you're doing is perfect, everything is great. Like I want to make I want to make a ton of changes, and I am going in and I am doing everything I possibly can. And a lot of the time it's a situation where, like, everyone on the team works really, really hard, and sometimes, like, stuff gets lost because there's just it's just a time situation. There are only so many hours in the day, and there's so much to do and keep track of. And I think on the human side, a lot of it is really just that, but it's a priority for me. Is ideally everything is documented and everything is actually public as well. So, like, if you're a creator and you feel like you were passed on for something, please shoot me a message, because I will happily chat with you about it, because we've done it in a way that is documented and rigorous, and it matters a lot to me. And not everyone is ever going to feel like everything is fair. That's just not possible. But at very least, I like that I have the ability to speak on how it was done, what the process was, what it looked like, because I think that level of communication is important, and it ties into having a closer relationship with creators. There needs to be a circle of trust, I think, where we trust the people that we're working with, and the people that we're working with, in turn, give us some good faith as well, and don't immediately jump to the worst possible case scenario whenever someone does a human thing.
Because we're humans. We're even our
We are.
No, that's awesome. It was really cool getting to see that, and not just for me, like literally for everyone. It's so cool, you know, knowing that other people are going to get to go on and do that. And everyone loved it. Like the Twitch audience loved it. They thought it was like such a good idea. Everyone that I talked to was like, that's so cool that all you guys are on there.
That's so nice to hear. And
yeah,
well, I mean, this is another kind of, I'll quote, advantage of having someone in that knows what it's like. A lot of the time as a creator, the thing that you want more than anything is just to know that we know that you exist and that we value you. Like, it's not even necessarily like, yeah, sure, there are some big scale things that like creator tools would be awesome, better camera would be awesome, creator game modes like Deadman, Armageddon, or whatever. Really cool. But a lot of it is just, what can we do to make sure that creators know? Because creators are important. But how do we make sure that they know that they're important and that we see them and that we hear them and that we're listening to them? And that's sort of one of my personal priorities. Is I think there's a lot that can be done there, and it's stuff that, you know, might seem really, really small, but I know how much it means to a person. I'll give you an example, a personal example. This was in 2016-ish, so going way, way back. Actually, possibly 2015. I'd never streamed before in my life, and I was just like a cringy teenager, early teenager, making RuneScape videos, learning how to edit. And I remember randomly checking, like I cared about all the YouTubers and whatever it is doing, so I would religiously watch the Golden Gnomes, and I would always like, it'd be like the most exciting thing ever. And this was the first year after the RuneScape and the old school split. And I was looking at like the nominees, and there used to be a category called Best Video Guide. And for whatever reason, my 300 view Corporeal Beast Guide that absolutely sucked by all accounts was listed as a nomination for the Best Video Guide. I've got 200 subscribers at this point. I don't know which JMOD did that. I didn't know any JMODs at that point. I don't know who did it. I still to this day don't know what kind of mistake happened, like some bigger creator like bowed out or something. But the second I saw my name on that list as just a nominee, obviously I didn't win the thing. I shouldn't have even been there, but it made me feel amazing. It made me feel, I couldn't believe that, like, it wasn't that I was going to win an award, because obviously I wasn't going to win an award.
Yeah.
But just the idea that RuneScape knows who I am.
Yeah, you exist.
They know me. Someone at RuneScape watched my video or looked at it. And that literally fired me up and powered me to make videos and get better for, I'm not even kidding, 5 years.
Oh my gosh.
They got 5 years of just motivated, attacking, learning. Like, I would not be the creator I am today without that experience. And it seems like such a tiny, stupid thing. You got nominated for an award you didn't even win.
But sometimes that's all it takes.
So much.
Yeah.
It means so much.
It does, yeah.
That was sort of a bit of the inspiration. I was thinking about that when, like, working through figuring out how to do a showcase as an example, just because I was like, that could be like golden, like me being nominated for a little thing. It's a small thing. It's not like this huge thing. I'm not gonna act like it's like, oh, welcome for the career, but it's a small thing that could have a really, really nice impact.
Okay, you know, there's like some people who are like, I only play RuneScape.
You're looking at one of them, but yeah, continue.
I wasn't gonna name any names.
Oh no, that's fine. It's fine. I actually play lots of other games, but just off stream.
Yeah, like on stream, you know.
Yeah.
I need variety in life, so.
Yeah, you play FF, right?
That's a new thing.
Okay, but just variety in general. Got it.
Yeah, mostly it's like New World, until they like nuke their game, and RuneScape were like the two big ones. But yeah, I'm dabbling. But yeah, I ever since then, you know, I was like, I should stream more RuneScape, you know.
Sweet, we'll take it. And just so you know, I and we at Jagex, if you want to, you know, extrapolate, I do not have a priority where I want people to be like me that just only stream RuneScape, because I totally understand that's a crazy thing to do, and it worked well for me, and that it shouldn't have worked well for me. It just happened to. So for me, like, I was so happy seeing a lot of the old school streamers that left.
Come back
about a year ago, come back to play
Yeah.
Sanctum and enjoy Sanctum. Like that's it's not like an in-crowd, out-crowd if you stream it every day or if it's one of the games you stream. But just the idea that people were coming back and playing and showcasing the game to their communities.
Yeah.
That's the goal. That's the dream. Like it's not yeah.
I mean, Sanctum in general has brought a lot of people back. I've noticed, like even just myself, personally, and it's good to see. I mean, you want the game that you love to do well, and like as much as like I think one of my favorite things to say is like, you know, you're kind of joking, but you're kind of like, why am I playing this game? But like I don't know why I love it, but I love it, and then it's like not doing well for so long, and it's like, gosh, man. I really wish that they would like figure it out and like make the game good again and bring people back. Like, what are they doing? So it's really cool to have some content where for the first time in a long time, it feels like people are coming back and they're happy. They're excited to play RuneScape. I've seen a lot of like returning to Gillinor blue messages popping up in the game. You know what I mean? Like, it's cool. It's awesome to see that.
I am so glad you feel that way. And I think that's been one of the best content releases that we've had. I mean, did you hear about my release day?
Wait, what about? I don't know. Wait, what?
I had a big day. Okay, I had a big day on Sanctum release. So I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning setting up for the showcase.
Yeah.
Showcase starts at 7 o'clock in the morning. Runs until 9 o'clock in the morning. Or a little after 9. So I didn't get to start my personal stream until 9:30 in the morning. So I've already been up for like 5 hours. And I had so much fun in Sanctum that I was live for 12 and a half hours.
I knew it was
and
a
I ended
long
my stream
time.
At 10 p.m.
I didn't know it was that long.
But I was having so much fun that, like, you know, when you like really get into something and you lose track of time?
Yeah.
I have not had that from RuneScape in a very long time. I'll be honest, I have not had that in so long. And it didn't feel like, oh, I'm grinding out this 12, like, I blinked. And it was like, wait, 10 hours happened. And I think that's just like a really good sign as a player that it kind of elicited that out of me. Like, time and space just completely warped. And I was just kind of having fun playing the game. And like, to me, that's one of the highest pieces of praise I can put on a video game, I think, is you're able to just really get into it and play it and enjoy it and not have anything pulling you out of the game or pulling you away from it. It was great.
Yeah, that's actually wild.
TLD Sanctum, I really enjoyed it.
It was good. I do have a very interesting question for you that I think
shoot, you can. I am absolutely an open book for this.
Okay, so I don't know if you've thought about this before, and I hope that I told you about it beforehand. I don't know if you like surprises, but
I've got my like YouTube thumbnail reaction face ready. So don't worry. I'm ready.
No, it's not like. Well, actually, I do have something to tell you. Maybe when we're not recording that.
Okay.
But
that's not ominous at all. Great, thank you.
We need to talk.
Perfect. Oh, great. Good. Very good.
No. So how have, if they have, your views on the game changed as a JMOD compared to how you approach the game as a player and creator only?
Oh, that is a good question. Wow, it turns out the person with the interview show is actually good at interviewing. That's wild. Really? Because I had an interview show for a bit. I was definitely not good at interviewing. So, I love that you waited for like the last phase of Sanctum for this too.
Yeah.
Like, you know
now
what?
that you're completely
I think Ryan
focused.
needs to answer this while he's fully focused on the greatest PVM challenge in the history of RuneScape.
Here's a really deep question.
The first week that I joined, there were some people within Jagex that were like a little like, how's Ryan gonna feel about this? Like, how is it gonna be like peeling back the curtain and actually seeing how everything works? It's been really interesting, first off, but I feel like it was very similar to what I like. It's a large business, tech company. Like
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is a lot of the times I would go, oh my goodness, why don't they just change this? It would be so easy to change this. Just change. And what I'm learning is that feedback is passed along. It is seen, it is known, and guess what? I'm too much of an idiot to understand that it's actually not easy to change at all. Like, and I was pretty surprised by how kind of in tune to the community the JMOD team is. And it's not just the people on the CM team, because like I'm under the umbrella of CM. It's like the developers, and it's like everybody's really, really in tune to the community and what's going on YouTube and what's going on Twitch. Like it's really, really a big thing. A lot of the time, and I found this to be really hard too, is someone will come to me with a suggestion or a thing that they would really like that would make them really happy, and having to give them kind of a vague answer and knowing internally that there is not an opportunity to do that thing.
Yeah.
And it just isn't. But you cannot expect your players to understand the real world limitations of things or the dev cost on a certain, like you can't get into that with them. It's not a thing that you can do really. So I've found that to be like really, really tough, but it's definitely increased my kind of not faith in the game. That's the wrong verbiage, but it's definitely, they're way more on top of they're way more on top of things than I thought as a creator / member of the community.
Right.
So that was actually like a positive. I was like I don't want to say pleasantly surprised. Like I obviously wouldn't have joined if I thought it was going to be like a dumpster fire, but it's really well put together. And if I could say one thing about it, like I have yet to meet a person that doesn't really, really care and put the most effort in imaginable to make a game that people really, really like. And I think it's really hard when it's such a vast game and so many people play for completely different reasons. And I think that makes it really, really hard, because even if you make something that is perfect for one person, Sanctum's even a good example, you're still going to get a percentage of people that are deeply unhappy for this, that, or the other reason. And I think a lot of it comes from that, is just remembering how many people play this game, how many people have completely different play styles and experiences, and remembering that we need to cater to everybody. We can't just cater to one individual person. So yeah, anyway, it's been really, really interesting, but it's been really, really good. That aspect of it has been like, yeah, I was really, really pleasantly surprised. And my faith went up a lot with regard to just being able to see, and I feel really privileged and lucky to be able to see this, but see how much work everyone puts in, see how much everybody cares, see that a lot of the things are, and the other thing too is sometimes something awesome will be requested, or it will be like, oh, this would be really cool, and sometimes it's in the plan 2 years from now. Like that happens pretty often, where there's it's not necessarily stuff being missed, but there's definitely a communication opportunity there where I think it would be really, really cool to maybe be able to share a little bit more so that people feel a little more heard. And I think that would go a really, really long way. But yeah, that's a really long-winded answer to your very, very succinct question.
No, that was great. And that's actually like, not what I expected you to say, but I'm actually really glad that you said that, because that's something that a lot of people like that I just know playing the game, they have that kind of, oh, they don't, not that they don't care, but that they don't like, they're out of touch with like the player base. They don't know what people are saying. They don't know how people like view the game. They don't know what people want. Like, those kinds of things. Like it's said pretty often. So I think that'll be good for people to hear.
It's one of those things. I mean, if someone really wants to be unhappy with the state of the game, they're going to say, oh, Ryan's been paid off or whatever. He's like, whatever it may be. And I want to speak on that too, just a little bit, because it's one of those situations where, I was gonna say two things. One thing that was like smart, and then one thing that was less smart. I was gonna lead with the smart one, but I can't remember it. So we might have to perform a pivot. But
I forgot my dread note.
Something that was really important to me when signing on is there are zero limitations to the content I can make or anything like that. That was essential to me. Like I've talked about this earlier in the chat that we've had, like how important it is for me to be a creator. If there was a universe where I wasn't able to make the content I want to make and say what I want to say and tell it like I see it, like I always have, and you know, if it was going to be a, you know, put the authenticity I've had for 10 years in jeopardy, wouldn't have done it. So that was one of the things that made it really logistically hard to bring me on board. Is it is weird bringing on a creator, knowing that this is going to be something that they're going to continue doing as an also priority. So yeah, that is one thing that I'm happy to speak on. That there have been no limitations set on what I can and can't do. I didn't check with anyone before agreeing to this chat, and I'm always gonna tell it like I see it. But yeah, I think a lot of it is stuff that, from a communication side, I think some of it is on the fact that the game has changed every year for the last 20, and a lot of our players have played it for 20 years. And a lot of our players have memories or points that they had a lot of fun or had really good experiences, and they want to go back to that. And but my background is psychology, so I'll just before I go too deep into this.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you now? Is it all kind of coming together? It's really tough to say this to a person, but sometimes it does apply. Is sometimes a person isn't actually looking for the thing to be the way that it used to be. They are looking to feel the way that they used to feel. Back in that period of time. And for a lot of us, they grew up on RuneScape. I had some really freaking fun summers with no job and no responsibilities, where I had an absolute blast playing RuneScape, and it was my peak of RuneScape. It was like the Karasi Sword era, like 2011. It was the best. But there's also an aspect of it where if a lot of complaints are stemming from players that want the game to be the way that it used to be, my guess is if we brought it back to exactly their specifications, they would play it and then realize that the thing that changed wasn't the game, it was them.
Oh my gosh, that's so deep.
Sorry, and I'm sorry. Way too profound for this. But yeah, that's one of the things that makes it difficult. Is you want to hear every piece of criticism, and you want to try to appease as many people as you can and make as many people happy as you can. That's the goal of like making a game. You want people to enjoy it. But sometimes it's hard when the thing someone is looking for maybe not within the confines of what one could do as someone designing a game. Yeah, that's all I was going to say about that kind of aspect of it.
None of that was even a little bit dumb.
We take those.
It was all smart.
Big day. Doesn't happen often, but I'll take it. Broken clocks.
Okay, okay. How about we, I know that you're not, I know you're focused on the creator stuff, but you're a player and you're a PVMer. If, this is just a fun one. If you could design a boss yourself, have you ever thought about that? What kind of boss you would design?
I can't say I've thought about it just because I am not a designer. And it's really funny because being brought in to be like a consultant to people designing a boss, like I was able to consult on Sanctum as an example, and it was one of the coolest, most fun, rewarding experiences of my life. As a full-blown boss, like, I mean, I always like, this is like my kind of my default answer, and it's not like the greatest answer in history, but I think it would be very, very cool to do. I think formerly Mod Pi had some really cool designs for a boss. That was like, I think it might have been like a raid, but I think there was like talk at some point. This was like from 5 or 6 years ago. We need to go like full investigative mode, but there was talk about like a boss idea where the boss fight never ends. and you need to basically call it at a certain point, and then you get loot depending on how long you were able to survive before you called it. But if you die, you lose it all.
Oh my gosh.
It's kind of like Telos, but even like, it's not even more risky. It's you have to make the decision of, do I think I can do another round where the boss gets more and more powerful each time? And it's got some really good accessibility there too, because you can make the baseline super accessible, and you can make rewards available super accessible, but you can get it to the point where it's infinitely hard. And I thought it'd be a cool idea. I have no idea if it's a feasible thing. It will probably never happen because, once again, not a designer. But yeah, if you're throwing away every like real world complication to the side, I just think that'd be really, really fun.
That actually does sound like really fun. That's one thing that I kind of think I wish that I had in RuneScape personally. I don't know. Well, I feel like you do actually, after looking at a lot of the things that you've done in RuneScape. I would like challenges built into the game itself. You've done a lot of challenges. I had no idea until I was looking at it. I knew you were good. I didn't know you were like that good. I'm not like trying to blow smoke up your ass. Holy crap! Like what did you do? You did the Nuzlocke challenge. You've done like what did you just did a Jad, right?
Yeah, I did 10 HP 10 HP 1 defense Jad.
Now you want to do something on your hardcore, like with Sanctum, like 10.
Yeah, I did a Sanctum kill today that was pretty cool. I did a hard mode Sanctum for my 100th kill for my aura. I did no armor, no food, tier 50 weapons. And it was really fun. And I loved it. And I died so many times.
Okay, I was going to ask.
Yeah, no, it was not like a first try. It took like an hour probably. But I've always liked challenge kills.
Yeah.
Because from a content standpoint, you take a bot, like you take something that's designed to be grinded.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be hard on the 1000th kill. And I find like a lot of progress kind of series, I find they can be a little stale pretty quickly, because it's just repeating 3-minute fight over and over and over again. Nothing happens, and then it ends.
Yeah.
Congrats, we got the thing. And then it's not a bad form of storytelling, but it's very linear, right? It's just linear progress, and then it happens. And from a content creation standpoint, what the more successful creators do is you need more layers to it than that.
Yeah.
Because that is not as captivating as something where there's a lot of either drama, which I don't really do a good job of, or excitement, or is he going to make it, or tension. So kind of trying to weave in those moments. So what I found is challenging PVM really leans into that well. So yeah, I've done just about everything over the years for that reason. And also for the reason that I find it really, really fun to challenge myself and really focus up. And I'm throwing. I'm so sorry.
I threw with you. It's
great. Perfect. Awesome. Sweet. But yeah, so yeah, no, I've done a lot of challenging stuff, but I also think, I don't know, it's weird. I don't really think about how I'm perceived very much, if I'm perceived as like a top PVMer or like an okay PVMer or whatever it is. But either way, it doesn't terribly matter to me. I've always said like there's a level above me, but I like to be able to be good at everything in the game.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that I do through my content is intentionally very accessible. So even if I'm doing really, really high level stuff, if you make, like, it's good to make content for people. When you're making anything, who's this for? And to me, I am now, this sounds really weird to say, but this is effectively what it is. At the size that I am at with how kind of known I am in the community, the only possible content that I can successfully make if I want to continue to grow and succeed, it has to be content for all RuneScape players.
Yeah.
It has to be. So doing like super niche, sometimes people want me to make like really, really, really high tier like strategy guides that are really technical for how I do my personal kills.
Yeah.
The problem with that is 95% of people aren't trying to do my kills. They're trying to get a kill.
Yeah.
And that's why I make videos about how to get a kill. That's why a huge amount of the editing that myself and my team put in and the overhead we take on is specifically making talkthroughs and tutorials and guides to getting their first kill. So yeah, just a little bit of insight into that is I really like the challenge stuff, but it's always how can I do this challenging thing? But I think I have a drop.
Do you?
I do.
Oh, I'm kidding.
Nice.
Congrats.
Cool. Woo. Good stuff. But yeah, making it accessible is like the most important thing. Making it something that someone that is a little newer to the game can still watch and appreciate, even if they don't understand all the buttons I'm hitting.
Yeah. Do you ever find it hard to kind of take it down so many levels?
Not really. I think you need to be constantly aware that, or like this is me talking to myself, is like, I need to be constantly aware that I am not making content for me. I am different from the person who is making stuff. So in general, it's like, if it's something I would want to watch, that's a good start. But yeah, I don't find it terribly difficult. Like my default isn't making stuff for me because I actually don't like any of my own videos and I have trouble watching them. Like I just can't do it. Like it just,
I feel that.
Unless I'm reviewing a video before posting it, when I'll watch it 3 times back to back to back on 2x speed for like revisioning purposes. Like I really go hard on that, but I don't sit down and grab popcorn and watch my own video and get excited. Like, I can't. I can't
watch anything that I've made.
So it doesn't worry me too much. It doesn't come up very much where I'm like, oh, this wasn't as accessible as it should have been. It's more like something else, not to like go to like learning I've been here for far too long, clearly, but something that I've learned really quickly is whether you're designing a game or you're making videos, you'll kind of always have to worry about the next thing. So make a video, doesn't go well. Nothing you can do about that now. You can learn from it, and you can take those learnings and apply them to the next thing. But in general, there's not really it's not necessarily worth dwelling on so much as it's worth quickly learning from, do a little retro, and then get to work on making sure the next one doesn't do that. Because I've had a lot of successful videos, and I've also had literally probably 400 to 500 really bad ones. It didn't do well, and that's all part of the process. And I think that sometimes is kind of lost when talking about kind of what it's like being a content creator. Is there's a lot of failure that is permanently on the internet forever. That as much as you'd love to dwell on it and correct it and fix it, you just have to look ahead at the next thing. You always do. So I do a lot of that. I'm always trying to get better at every aspect of everything I'm doing, but it's never really like looking back and thinking, oh, this wasn't accessible enough, or this wasn't,
Isn't it cool using dreadnips again? I don't know if you think it's cool.
I freaking love dreadnips. I just right before this, my wife wanted to do a run with me, her first run actually. And I was like, can you put dreadnips in your preset? And her eyes lit up. She was like, dreadnips?
Yeah.
In 2024? And I said, yes.
I don't even remember the last time I used a dreadnip. I think when I was like learning how to solo ED1, I like brought dreadnips because I just needed any little like extra bit of help. I think this is the last time I ever tried to use a dreadnip.
Love dreadnips.
Oh man. Here's a little bit of a spicy question.
Okay. I'm ready.
About creators in RuneScape 3.
Okay.
So, who's your favorite? No, I'm kidding. A sentiment that I've seen like expressed, I guess, on the internet and in some people's streams and things like that. I've just noticed is there's like this perception of RuneScape 3 creators not being good, and they compare them to old school creators outside of like the top, they say it in general, there's like not good content being made. There's no good creators, nothing interesting to watch. RuneScape 3 is hard to watch content wise. Why do you think people might feel that way video quality ideas, personalities, the game.
I think RuneScape's always going to be the younger sibling. We don't have a settled that came on and everybody's watching it and talking about it. We just don't have that. I have so many things I want to say about this. Actually, can we delay going into the fight just so that I can actually think about this? Cool. Just briefly, and then we'll get back to gaming. All right, I want my title, but no, it's kind of tough because we're always going to be compared to old school, and I don't think that's a fair comparison. They're extremely different games, but one thing old school does really well is they have really good visual clarity, which is just a tool that a creator can use.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I'm really, really focused on with my role is not copying old school, because we're not old school. We're a very different game.
Yeah.
But things that enable creators that creators can use as a tool to tell a story. That's effectively what it really boils down to. So maybe it's better camera mode, maybe it's a decluttered interface mode, maybe stuff like that is really important because there are two aspects of this, right? Part one is, as a creator, that is literally what your job is. Take this game, that is your canvas, turn it into something that someone would want to watch. That is literally what the job is. That's the whole job in one sentence. So on one hand, it's hard to do, but on the other hand, it's where does the game let a creator down, where if they had this, they would be able to do this. So on one hand, that's kind of the first thought there is, yeah, we're not old school, and there are legitimate reasons why it's hard to watch RuneScape 3. The second thing I'm going to say is this is a bit of a call out here, but I actually think it is complete BS when people say there are no RuneScape creators.
Yeah.
I think that is absolute cap because there are so many awesome RuneScape creators who are making stuff and being creative and telling stories and making beautiful cinematics and covering a variety of topics. There are over 400 active RuneScape creators that make RuneScape content every month. Over 400.
That's so many.
So when people go, there are no RuneScape creators, then they haven't been looking.
Yeah.
Honestly, there are so many, and they don't have the level of success that they should have. They don't have as many eyes on them as they should have, and I'm there to help with that. But specifically to what you said about the quality as well, comparing to old school, I think we're a couple years behind them.
Yeah.
With regard to building because they built that game with their creators in mind. That's what they did. They built the game, and they've now had a game for 10 years that has been built with creators in mind. Yeah, you're gonna be ahead. they're a good 7 years ahead, probably, or 8 years ahead, or whatever it may be. Something I will say too, when you're looking at the RuneScape creator space, is there something? Okay, sounds like really corporate of me, but something that I really looked into is talent retention.
Okay.
You know this thing where like someone comes onto RuneScape and they make really, really good content, and then they get partnered on Twitch, and then they go stream somewhere else. That happens to literally everybody except for me at this point. Yeah, 1 or 2 or 10 or 20 or 50. Cool. So that is an aspect that's really important to me. And one of the reasons why it's really important to get close relationships with your creators, because we've had some incredibly talented creators come up through RuneScape. Problem is, once they've reached their perceived ceiling of success, they go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that's natural to do. You don't hate them for that. They're taking care of themselves, their families, like that.
Yeah.
If the ceiling of success is as low as it currently is, it is going to be hard to retain the most talented creators.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but that is also not to discourage the current creators, because the way that I would describe our current creator scene, it is very new. It is very thriving. There are tons of people coming in and starting and making new RuneScape content, like more than has ever been.
Yeah.
Which is, by the way, really, really freaking awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. You guys are doing great. But something that kind of stems out of that as well is there's a lot of raw talent. People aren't entirely refined on their content creation. It's not there yet, because that takes time. That takes years of time. So I think what's happened in RuneScape the Third is the creators that have managed to take that next step and really, really figure it out for their content and what works really well, succeed, and then leave.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of faith in the current group of creators that's coming up. I think there are so many awesome household names that, and maybe there's an aspect of this where some creators need some guidance on some storytelling stuff, or YouTube titles, or SEO stuff, or thumbnails, or whatever else, just to kind of help refine and make sure that people are thinking about it in the way that is going to lead them to success.
Yeah.
But yeah, the idea that we don't have creators is stupid. We have an absolute ton,
Yeah.
and they're working their asses off to make the best content they can. And you need to give it a little time. They need to work on it, and they need to continue working on their creation, which is what you do every time you make something, which is awesome. And then alongside that, us at Jagex, need to make sure that when our creators are ready to take those steps, they have the tools, and we're providing them the tools, and maybe it's a showcase, maybe the eyes, so that when they're ready to take that step, we're ready to take it with them.
Yeah.
Cool?
Yeah.
Sorry, I get really pissed off when people say RuneScape has no creators. Like, I get it every single day of the last 5 years. I've had, Ryan, why don't you go play old school? You get so many more views.
Yeah.
I don't care. That's not why I'm doing it.
Yeah. I mean, can we talk about it? You've stuck with RuneScape through thick and thin, like literal better or worse. You stuck with RuneScape. I mean, it worked out for you, obviously, but is there anything that could ever happen that would be like you're out?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course there is. I'm not unconditionally in love with RuneScape.
Yeah.
I think well, okay, here's kind of a fun one. I picked RuneScape 3. Basically by mistake. So when the EOC dropped, I quit, as most people did. I started making content on RuneScape 3 a little bit, and also on Old School. I made videos for both when I first started out, right when Old School RuneScape came out. And after like 20 or 30 videos, I got it into my head that it was like, I should probably focus on one game. That would make more sense as a content creator, because no one was playing both games at this time. It was everyone was playing Old School with me. So what I decided to do is I've been making consistent videos for a full year. So I decided, why don't I poll my brand new community and ask them? And whatever they vote, that's the game I'll stick with. Only thing is, although I've been making content for a year consistently, probably like, I don't know, 50, 60 videos under my belt, possibly more than that actually, maybe closer to 100 videos. I had 41 subscribers on YouTube. And only one person responded to my poll.
And
that one person was a semi like IRL friend who preferred RuneScape 3. Was the only vote on RS3, and to this day, that is why I am here. The biggest what if in history.
That's actually crazy.
So, yeah, that's how I picked RuneScape 3. It's one of those things where, as someone that consumed a lot of RuneScape content, for better or for worse, because I know it's people just taking care of their families and doing what's best for them, and I would never, ever fault anyone for doing that. But when I was growing up, it made me legitimately very sad to see all my favorite creators leave. And the main reason I stuck with RuneScape 3 through a lot of different times, the biggest reason is because now that I'm in a position to be a creator, I didn't want to do that to anybody. Because I felt legitimately, as sad as it sounds, I felt legitimately, genuinely hurt.
Yeah.
When my favorite creators left and moved on to other things and found, whether it's bigger or better things or lesser and worse things, it made me pretty upset when they left. Like legitimately, like, and this is obviously as a kid, not as an adult now. I understand a little more now. So yeah, that is the main reason why I've stuck with RuneScape, and it would have to get real bad before I would even want to think about going anywhere else, because I have such a strong, dedicated community that I love and I owe my entire career to, and I wouldn't want to put them through that unless I absolutely had to.
Yeah, there was a lot of I guess you could call it just like people talking, speculating, like who's gonna be the next person to leave, and then it's like, is RsGuy going to go to old school after like the hero pass stuff, and when this kind of last exodus happened, it was definitely a thing that I don't know if I'm sure you were aware, but there were a lot of people wondering what you were going to do, and a lot of people surprised that you just stuck with RuneScape.
I think my core audience knew I wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
But I definitely know, like, if you just kind of fleetingly look at my stuff or look at my numbers and go,
yeah.
And also when things are really bad, it's pretty easy to be a bit of a, like, not like a doomer, but
yeah. Yeah. A lot of dooming happened.
It's a really easy dooming to say, I think our biggest creator is going to leave, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's what's going to happen. And yeah, it was a risk though, right? Like, viewership, I don't know, actually this probably isn't known, but it's publicly available data, so I can say it. The 4 months after the Hero Pass Exodus were the 4 lowest viewed months on Twitch in the RuneScape Twitch directory in its history.
Yeah, there was it's wild. It was wild to wake up and see like 50 viewers on RuneScape or less.
It was legitimately really bad, and I am so excited to see how many people have come back and are streaming and are going live in the directory. It's literally hundreds and hundreds of people have come back to RuneScape to stream, and that, like, I can't even put into words how excited that makes me. But yeah, but I will also say this, like, I'm a very, like, it's weird to, like, it feels really like weird and self-important to say this, but I take my content creation very seriously.
Yeah.
I have a production team that I work really closely with. I have an editing team. I have people I work with. I take classes with YouTube so that I can learn as much as I possibly can. Whatever. All that other nonsense, not important what it is, but I take it very seriously.
Yeah.
And the same reasons why other people left RuneScape are also, they're not things I'm like naively being like, no, this is me. Like, it's a situation where, like, when everybody else was leaving, I had to think about it. I had to really seriously consider it.
Yeah.
And staying was a risk. There was an inherent risk that was taken there. Because if this is the end, you want to get out early. Yeah, I sat down. I spoke to my wife about it a lot too, who is an absolute gem. We can talk about her later as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's coming perfect. Yeah, can't say enough good things. If you think I'm annoying talking about content stuff, oh man, wait till we start talking about her. It's one of those things where, yeah, I'm not gonna pretend like I was like stoically like I'm not going anywhere. I really had to think about it and consider it and weigh my best options. But something that I had is I have a relationship with people at Jagex. I've got a business working relationship with them. So something that I did in October after everybody left is I was able to actually get a call with some people at Jagex. I won't say who, obviously, but where I just spent 2 hours basically detailing mathematically exactly everything that has gone wrong for the creator scene in RuneScape. Visual. It was pretty brutal. And honestly, I'm glad I did it in the way that I did, because I really felt like I needed to be very, very clear that this isn't like a random thing that happened. And people leaving isn't this randomness, because there's a lot of like creators do what they do. They're volatile, like whatever it is. It's like, no, none of this is randomness. And these are 100 of the factors that led to it. And it's not like anything actionable came out of that immediately, obviously. It was a lot of info, but the info got in front of the right people. And I mean, I'm skipping like 11 steps here, but the end of that, effectively, that initial call where I spent 2 hours basically ripping into it with people that I knew could handle it.
Yeah.
Resulted in me now joining Jagex and being put in a position and tasked with helping fix it. So definitely was a big risk. And I could not have imagined that. I honestly thought it was more likely that coming out of that call is like, I may not have a chance to do a lot with Jagex moving forward. Like, you don't know, right? When you're on the line, you don't know if you've burned the bridge or if you've told someone what, maybe you feel they need to hear or understand. Yeah. But either way, that was something that happened in it was like October of 2023, I guess. Yeah, that would have happened. And yeah, so anyway, it takes months, and it took like a year after that point to really get things really talking and moving forward. But something that I had that others didn't is I know that the people care.
Yeah.
I know that it's not intentional. I know there are real world things in the way. So being able to kind of empirically put things in a spot where it's visible and it's actionable, allowed for the ability to bring someone in to help on it in a dedicated way. Because if it's not empirical, you can't bring someone in to do stuff to make stuff better, but there's no way to monitor it or track it, or like that's not a real thing that people do.
Yeah.
I will say I was not expecting it to be me.
Really?
And I was very, very surprised when they asked me if I would want to do it, because I love being a creator, and there's almost nothing that would get me to put that even slightly on the back burner. You know what I mean? Like, and even though like I felt qualified for it because I've had a lot of experience both as a RuneScape creator, but also I do a lot of stuff. This was something too, if we can briefly touch on this. People thought I got hired because I was a RuneScape streamer. And that's my own fault because I'm really bad at like celebrating things that happen in my life. Like I'm really, really bad at it.
Yeah.
I think people aren't going to care. Like I almost didn't make a post when I got married. It was like, they're not going to care. But for the last 5 years, I have been working on as much as I possibly can in the industry to learn and understand as much as humanly possible, to the point that I can now I can consider myself an expert on content creation, not as a creator, but as someone that did a lot of work with Twitch. And even in 2023, I was at Twitch HQ in California at like a bunch of conferences. And then I spent a full year doing classes with YouTube Canada. And I literally have, hold up.
Yeah.
I haven't thrown it away ever, I don't believe. But I literally have a diploma signed from the head of YouTube Canada that saying that I've completed like all of these courses, and yeah. But I don't know. So anyway,
and then you chuck it. It's cool.
Like, oh my god, this streamer. And I was like, it's my own fault because I did a terrible job of highlighting a lot of the work I was putting in behind the scenes. But I also think it shouldn't be like, here's the thing, as a content creator, I think it's really, really not fun to spend the whole time you're doing something fun being like, wow, that was pretty good content, huh? You know what I mean? Like, you just want to have fun playing the game. So anyway, I've done a bad job of actually going through some of the stuff that I went through to put myself in that position. But yeah, anyway, I was very surprised that it came to me, just because, I don't know, I think there's an inherent risk in bringing on your largest creator or whatever as a full-time employee, because like
for sure,
if that crashes and burns, it's not good for anybody, right? But yeah, anyway, that's sort of how that came to be. And yeah, so anyway, it was a big risk, but it ended up really working out. And yeah, I hope that I can be the person that can fix it and make meaningful changes for creators, because I care a lot about the space, and I care a lot about the people, and I know a lot of the people, and it would just be so cool if it works. And something that is specific to the role, though, a lot of this stuff has never been done before. This isn't like a job that other people have had in the past for other games or for elsewhere in the industry. There isn't a lot else to look other than my own experience, my own expertise that I have. So I will say it is really, really stressful knowing that a lot of this is going to work or not work entirely depending on it. Definitely, like, even though I'm supported by a really, really good team, we're all really, really busy. This is going to work or not work if I can make it work or if I can't make it work. And that is not lost on me. And there's a lot of built-in responsibility there that is absolutely terrifying, because I honestly don't think I could live with it if I was the reason the creator space wasn't good. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just I wouldn't be able to live with it.
Well,
unless,
you're
like,
passionate about
as
it.
long as I did everything as long as I do everything I possibly can to make this thing work, I'll come out of it proud. But if I look back and I go, this didn't work because I didn't do enough, or I didn't put in enough hours, or I didn't think outside the box enough, like, I would not be able to forgive myself. There would be therapy involved. Most definitely. But yeah.
Not work. You're RsGuy, you're Ryan though. What does Ryan do for fun outside of RuneScape?
That's a really good question. Honestly, since starting work, since starting the new job, work-life balance is a little explodey because
Yeah.
I get out of first job and then I do the content stuff, and then in the evening I do all of the working with my editors and making thumbnails and do all that kind of stuff and analytics and whatever. But for fun,
Oh my
great
gosh.
questions. Yeah, and I also I know because it's gonna show up in the comments. This is absolutely not sustainable. I'm very aware of that. We can get into that later when we talk about my wife. We could do that.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where, yeah. So outside of that, I like to spend time with my family, which I know
Yeah.
sounds like what you'd say at like, I don't know, like when you're like 7 years old going into school, and it's like, so what did you do this weekend? Oh, I spent time with my family. But I don't know. I think it's different when you're in your mid-20s because a lot of people don't do that. So especially my mom, she is, I guess technically, yeah, she's terminally ill,
Oh my
and
goodness.
she has, yeah, no, it's okay. We've known for like a couple years now. So it's one of those things where that really put a lot into perspective. And it was like,
Yeah.
I think when I was really like grinding and focusing on my streams and stuff, there was a lot of focus on like, it was like, work hard now and do this now and devote all your time to this now. And then you can do all the family stuff later. You can do the family stuff afterwards. Once you're happy with where you're at, once you've achieved everything you wanted to achieve. And turns out that is not how life works. So that was definitely a catalyst in some pretty big changes that I made in my life with what I was prioritizing.
Yeah.
Just realizing it's like, wait, my mom is not going to be here forever. And that was a really good thing because I think I needed that. I think I was too focused on like, there was a year where I didn't take a single day off stream for the full calendar year for any reason.
Not one.
Like my family was like, can we go on vacation? I was like, sorry, I can't. Streaming. It was just, I was grinding, right?
Yeah.
And I was really grinding. Like this was my dream, and I felt like I had to fight for it. So that was like multiple years ago. That wasn't like super recently. Yeah, so that's one thing that's definitely a priority now, where I'm still not the world's greatest at it, but I always am trying to make time to spend with my mom and with my family.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. And then other than that, I will occasionally fall into a habit of not doing a lot of grass touching, which is not good because like I really grew up being a very sporty, athletic person, and that was like the thing that I really did that I loved for my mental health.
Yeah.
So I've recently gotten back into running, which is quite fun. And then outside of that, my main sports that I do, which are my main activities, are I do climbing and bouldering.
Oh, fun.
And then I've also recently started playing tennis with my brother because my brother is also my family, and it's good to spend time with him too. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's sort of a combination of there's basically no me time. It's basically me time has turned into not working time, which turns into family time, but it comes with the territory. But yeah, those are sort of the main activities. And I want to do more reading, but I feel like everybody says, oh, I want to do more reading, and then just don't read. And that is literally me. So I do want to do more reading. We can maybe in a couple of years, we could do a retro. You can ask me what books I've read, and then.
Is there any genre in particular that you enjoy, or you just want to read?
I am a child. I really like fantasy. But like not like the like. Okay, my wife is like a fan fiction girly. That shit is crazy. Not like that.
Yeah.
I cannot.
Get a little crazy.
I cannot fathom how not like that it is. But yeah, like even if it's like the books that I read when I was a kid growing up, because I always had a book in my hand. Like even something like that, where like I'm very into it. So like right now, I've just started reading earlier today, Fire and Blood, which is a George R.R. Martin book relating to House of the Dragon, because I'm watching House of the Dragon. I was like, yeah, that'll be fun to pick up. So yeah, fantasy, unserious, fun adventure, go to a different world, read a book, kind of books.
Books. I love books. So can we talk about your wife?
I would love to talk about my wife.
So you met through RuneScape?
Kind of.
Okay.
See, okay, there's kind of a lot. There are a lot of different possible meeting points here because just the way we did things was just not normal. Not like in a way that was bad, but like just like in a way that we were both like just There's a lot of nonsense. So technically, we met via my Twitch chat and via my Twitch community. She came into my Twitch chat. She dropped a primer. Whatever. We started talking. We became friends. She kind of became friends with people in my friend group, and then we started hanging out on Discord. And then we kind of cut out the middleman and just kind of started hanging out with the two of us.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the start of that. But when we like started actually talking, I was going through like a really, really, really bad breakup. Mm-hmm. Like I was like in the hospital bad, like that level of not good. Yeah. Which, hey, you know, shit happens.
It do be happening.
Live and learn. It do be happening. But it was one of those things where what I really needed was a friend. And I needed someone to listen and be there for me and support me and whatever else. And I felt really comfortable talking to her from the get-go because I knew a lot about her life and things that she'd been through and things that she'd struggled with, and because she'd come to me before. So it was one of those things where like I kind of reached out to her.
We're on the same tile. I can't wait for that to be fixed.
No, you're good. But kind of by default, I kind of reached out to her and we started talking.
Yeah.
But I was in no shape / condition to be in a relationship with anyone. Obviously I wasn't looking for that, but I was also like, you know, mental health disaster, everything disaster. It was like that was the most disastrous arc of my life by far.
Yeah. So
kind of not a great situation to meet a, you know, a potential life partner out of. So the way that we made that work is I think I hung out with her or spoke to her probably every day for a calendar year. And at no point were there, like, just the two of us, and at no point were there any discussions of dating or relationships or anything.
Yeah.
We just both made time for each other every single day to talk, to hang out, to play video games. We started with RuneScape. We got bored of RuneScape. We started playing Minecraft. We started playing Bloons Tower Defense, whatever it was. But it was really just very pure gaming. But I also do think over that year of time, like, we both obviously developed feelings for each other because without saying it, like, she just kind of stopped going on dates with people. And I very clearly was showing, like, you know, because I, you know, get over things and you move on and you know, you're ready to get back out there. And I was making no effort to get back out there. And I think it was one of those things where I think we both kind of realized where this was going, and also realized that the way we were hanging out was entirely unsustainable for someone in a relationship. To be like, oh yeah, sorry, this is just the girl that I game with for 3 to 4 hours every night. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry.
Just you know, it really was just friends the whole time. And even and this is the part that was kind of like a cope on my part, because I was like, I really liked what we had, and she was really important to me. So I was like, I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to bring this up. Maybe she doesn't feel the same way. And it turns out she's really, really shy about this stuff too, and she didn't want to scare me away. So we both basically just didn't tell each other we liked each other for like an absolutely obscene amount of time.
Oh my god!
And it was funny because we recently got married, and even in the wedding speeches, we were getting teased about how we, quote, totally weren't dating because she's from the States. I actually flew to Minnesota to hang out with her for a week. And spend time with her and visit her. And like, did we both have feelings for each other? Absolutely we did. Like, a big part of that is I wasn't going to start dating someone that I hadn't met in person and actually hang out with and spend time with, whatever. But everyone in our families thinks we were like dating at that point, and that was like actually just us dating. Nope, we were just friends. We just like went and traveled around Minnesota, hung out. Nothing happened the whole trip.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so we really we went into it was like actual slow-mo because we were both just like really, really liking each other's company, and we didn't want to like rock the boat or anything like that. So anyway, that's sort of how that started, but just like the nicest, kindest, like I just like, you know, when you meet someone and you just know that they have like, I'll say like a good soul.
Mm-hmm.
She's just kind and she has a good heart and she's just, you know what I mean? And it's one of those things where it's like, I want to be around someone like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's sort of what transpired for us to start dating was it, I don't know. It's all like really embarrassing to talk about because like the signs were all there and very clear and in 4K HD. And we were both just like, oh, we're happy with this. Let's just keep doing this. A good example of that was when she'll be fine with me telling this story. I mean, she'll be embarrassed, but that's fine. I'm allowed to embarrass her. She's my wife.
Is that how it works?
We started dating. I think that's how that works. Well, we'll find out. If I ever disappear off the internet, you know what happened. Because yeah, she is also a karate instructor or a former karate instructor and a 3rd degree black belt, and she competed at Worlds for Team USA in 2018.
What? That's so cool.
So yeah, don't mess with her too much, but I'm gonna mess with her right now.
Good luck.
But it's one of those things where we were actually playing RuneScape, and we were not dating, but like to every onlooker, obviously we were dating. Like, are you guys idiots? What do you mean you haven't talked about this? And she might have dropped an "I love you" in the middle of a Raksha kill. And I didn't know how to react because in my brain, I was like, hey, we're not dating. So, okay. And then I was like, did I just get friend zoned? I was like, there's no way I just got friend zoned because like, there's no way. Like, I know that like, she loves, but there's no way. So anyway, what happened is I literally said nothing for a full 3 minutes. And then after that period of time, I was like, okay, we should talk. So that was when we started dating. That was how we started dating.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Anna broke the silence by going, I have decided that we're dating.
Oh my gosh,
He said
I love that.
obviously not in an assertive way. As like
we are dating.
I was like, yeah. But anyway, because of the way that we started just as just friends purely for such a long time, it was so natural. And I always felt really, really comfortable with her, which was really, really awesome. And it just going from spending every moment with her, basically every free moment with her, to dating. Yeah, it was really, really seamless. And then, yeah, that's sort of the backstory, a little bit of how we met and how we got to know each other.
That's actually, it's hilarious, but also like cute and sweet.
See, Anna, cute and sweet. So we don't need to, no.
And how is it now? Because you're working some crazy hours.
Yeah, something I love about Anna is she wants to help me get to the place that I want to get to. She doesn't want to be a reason I didn't get the thing that I wanted. She's very big on you deserve the best things, and I want to help. And I mean, it's a similar way to in that first year when we started talking, I would say at least half of those nights I was sitting on a call with her while she was getting through nursing school, and now she's a working nurse at her favorite unit in her favorite hospital, and like all of that, you know, was a situation where I definitely had a big impact helping get her through nursing school. And it's not a thing that she's reciprocating. It's just that's sort of the kind of person that she is she understands probably more than anybody the things that I care about and the things that mean a lot to me. And but she also knows me, and there are some drawbacks to that, such as being entirely cognizant that it's like, okay, so we're both aware that this is completely and utterly unsustainable and really stupid. Yes. And then I'm like, so I shouldn't do it then. And then she goes, no, you should do it. You're gonna do it anyway. Yeah, just you should do it. But So yeah, no, she's the most supportive person in the world, and I was like, I'm a very communicative person. It's the psych background probably, but it's one of those things where like I always feel comfortable knowing that I can give her anything that she needs, and she will always communicate that with me in a way that has allowed me to take on this extra work and have way less time to spend with her, but also be 100% confident and comfortable that she's getting less time with me. Obviously, that's gonna happen, but she's getting enough time with me, and that she's happy, and that I'm in a position where I can make sure that she's always happy and she's always supported. Because that's obviously like also a non-starter, right? You don't want to take 2 jobs right after getting married and then go, oh yeah, by the way, forgot about my wife for 6 months. No, so she's the backbone of everything I do. I spend time with her every single day, even if it's a very short amount of time, even if it's a 20-minute call, whatever it is. Because we do also live in different countries. That is probably worth mentioning. Yes, still. So
that is not something
immigrating to the United States is hard.
Yeah, I've heard.
That's why I'm talking about calls. I'm talking about calls and things. So that was something as well on the timing front that made this work. Is immigration from the point that you're married probably takes about a year, possibly longer.
Oh.
And there's a way that's instant, which is after getting married, I could have just moved to the States and stayed in the States. But if you do that, you're not allowed to leave the States for any reason for that year. If you leave for any reason, they throw it in the trash. And I've got my mom.
Yeah.
So I can't commit to a year in the States.
Yeah, not going home.
And yeah, so that just wasn't an option. So yeah, the way that we're doing it, that was the other really important thing. Like obviously this is a big decision that took 11 years of discussing and figuring out, but she was always 100% in the whole time. And
yeah,
she's someone too, she's so nice. Like she's never like resentful. She's never like grumbling about, oh, you don't have enough time anymore. Cause she knows, she gets it, she understands, and she's just the best. She's the absolute best. I would not be able to do any of this stuff without her. But the immigration takes a year, maybe a year and a half if we're unlucky. That kind of, oh man, this is kind of tough to talk about, but whatever. As soon as I'm able to move to the States, I'm going to have some decisions to make.
Really?
Because right now, it is totally fine that I focus on my career for the next year and a half.
Yeah.
Because I can't live in the States anyway. I can't start on my, working on my life with my wife, and I can't start working on my family.
Yeah.
We're holding off on that stuff for now because we can't live together. But the second we're able to live together, that is when really this stupid, totally unsustainable thing I'm doing becomes completely and utterly unsustainable and also not fair to my wife.
Yeah, for sure.
Who is the best. So yeah, basically that's something. So my contract with Jagex is very strategically 8 months long. It is 8 months long. It is likely going to extend. I think I can say that. That's probably fine. And I would like it to extend because I want to do everything I can for the creator space. But at some point in the next year to year and a half, I think I'm going to have to make a choice between what I want to do. Yeah. And that is going to suck.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you can tell talking to me, like I love both of the things and I care about both those things, but I don't love either of those things enough to put my life and my family and my wife on.
Right.
I absolutely refuse to get into my 30s or my 40s or whatever it is. And it's like, what did you do? Oh, I worked really hard. It's like, no, you do not live to work. You work to live.
Yeah.
So anyway, I know this gives you some overthinking vibes. That the fact that I'm already thinking about this.
No,
a year from now, but it's big and it's really
you have to
so
give yourself that time.
I know
huge.
Something's gotta give. And I have not made my decision yet, obviously. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know it's going to be really, really tough because Jagex has been really good to me and good for me. And my own content stuff has also been the best. And there's other stuff to tie in too. Like, I have employees. What's that going to mean for them?
That's right. You're like a whole
And
team and everything.
it just it sucks. It sucks because if you know, maybe in a year they're gonna come out with something and I'm gonna be able to plug myself in and then not have to sleep.
Yeah.
And we're just chilling, and then we're all good. But yeah, the number one thing is like living my life and being there with my wife. That becomes, and my family, that becomes priority.
Yeah. That's so good.
The two
though.
things that are currently wrestling for priority number one that I love both of them.
Yeah.
Something's got to give.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of the looming thing is this made sense and she was totally on board and it makes perfect sense from my perspective too.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't once I'm able to start my life with my wife.
Yeah.
At that point, it does not make sense anymore. So yeah, anyway, hopefully that makes more sense as opposed to, did you think I was just like recently married and just like ignoring my wife permanently?
I literally, I had no idea because it's like this man is not like barely sleeping. I don't know when he has time to like do anything.
That is fair.
You're like,
That's so funny.
Is 11 good? I was like, God damn. Okay. Yep. I can do it.
So,
No, I was
11
happy.
Perfect tonight. 11 was perfect tonight because, so nurses work, usually they work 12 sometimes. So my wife, every third weekend, she does a Friday, a Saturday, a Sunday, 12-hour shift.
Oh goodness, 12 hours.
And she works on a burn unit too. So
Oh
it's
my
like
gosh.
dressing changes. It's which by the way, she loves. She's there by choice because she wanted to be a burn nurse. I think she's crazy for that.
Yeah.
But I support her in her endeavor, and we've had to really work on when I ask about how work was, not proceed to just tell me about the most disgusting thing I've ever heard in my entire life that I really didn't want to know about.
Oh man, yeah.
Because she's just, you know, the people that are just not squeamish at all.
Yeah.
Are you one of them?
Maybe.
Well, you should chat with her. She would love to talk because she definitely, it's not me. I'm not equipped for that.
Yeah, I'm not very
yeah,
squeamish at all.
This weekend, she's working 12, so she's up at 5 a.m. and she gets home at 8 p.m. And then by 9 o'clock or 9:30, she is passed out. So it worked out really, really well to record at 11 p.m. tonight because it was like, great, I'll run a Sanctum with her. She goes to bed. Gaming time. Perfect.
Yeah, I'm not usually a D-gen, but I was like, sometimes you just gotta make it work.
Okay for you. This is late for me too, by the way, because I have work at 6:45 every morning. But
you know, I wake up at 5:30. That's just when I wake up. That's just like
that's
just waking up.
props to you.
No alarms, and sometimes I try and force myself to sleep for like 30 minutes more, but I can't always do it. So I'm a
Sometimes it works out. Sometimes
6 o'clock riser, and
it's not bad. I'm like a night owl usually, so this is like past your bedtime then. For
Oh,
sure.
I took a nap. I went to sleep at 9 o'clock. Set alarms.
Thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate that. I'm sorry I'm impossible to schedule in. Like, it's
No.
just, it's a constant reminder that I'm doing too much. It really is that I can't find an hour to record something that isn't at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, no, I was like, I have to do this because one, I feel bad that this guy is like got a lot going on and he's worried about coming onto my like little YouTube show. Like, that's like not what you should be thinking about right
No,
now.
I love this stuff. I wasn't worried about it. I just like I told you that I wanted to come on, and I didn't want you to think that I wasn't serious. Like, I seriously was down. You shot your shot. You invited me, and I was like, yeah, of course I'll come on. I'd love to. And then life happened.
Yeah, no, I was just like, okay, I can do this. I can be up at this time. I got it. I just need to sleep first. Okay, so I do have some fun little things before we can not be here
Love
much
that.
longer. I know you've got like
love fun little things.
start. You're I think it's hilarious that your hardcore Iron Man is named Tall and Manly. Why did we name it Tall and Manly?
I mean, my height and demeanor, obviously. Hello.
How tall are you?
I'm really short. I'm 5'7", and that's like honestly borderline a lie. Like I'm probably 5'6".
A lie.
Yeah. Like, no. So the reason the name came to be is I thought it would be really, really funny is one, there's now a situation where there are people that legitimately think I am actually very tall and very conventionally manly, and I just love that because that's really, really funny, and that's like not really my thing. I think so. Over the years, when I stream, I like to show enthusiasm in what I'm doing, and I'm a very like, I'm a pretty emotive person, and I think it's really important to as a creator. And I think a lot of people get kind of stuck in their own heads that they don't express themselves. But did you know that expressing oneself is actually not a trait a man is allowed to actually do?
Yeah, no, of course not. You're not allowed to have feelings.
As a man, you can't feel things, or you can feel things, but you better suppress them.
Yeah.
You better not. So, because of the way that I speak when I'm streaming, I'm excited and I'm happy to be there because I am. And I think it's so freaking cool that a person took the time to tune in and watch me stream. And I really, really project outwardly as being someone that's really happy to be there. A lot of people, like in like rude comments and stuff, would just make assumptions about like even stuff like my sexual orientation or whatever, or even just make comments about like, oh, he's like a soy boy or like whatever else. And basically it was like a thing where like they were so insecure about them. I should say are, because this happens like every day or two probably at this point.
Yeah.
So insecure about themselves that the idea of a man showing emotion or speaking at a higher register when they're excited is like uncomfortable. It's like, oh, I can't. Oh, this is not. It was for those. I feel bad for you, genuinely. I cannot imagine living one's life like that. Like it's just a miserable existence. And I do genuinely. I don't mean that in like a like screw the haters. Like I actually feel bad.
There's genuinely
like, I legitimately feel bad because there is such a crisis with men and mental health and feeling like you have to be something in order to be accepted. And yeah, it's one of those things. Even on my wedding community post and my photo I got to share with my wife, which I was really excited about, it's like 98% like really, really nice comments, and then the other 2% are like, wife? What? Still not convinced. And it's like, it's one of the things. So that's the name Tall and Manly was directly as a joke because I'm not tall and I'm not conventionally manly. So yeah, that's the whole point. But it's really, really funny because especially like even the wedding photos, my wife is way shorter than I am. So someone was like, wait, he really is tall and manly.
Wait, how tall is she?
She's like 5'3" or 4. So like,
oh my goodness.
But when you frame a photo, you can make someone look taller than they are.
Yeah.
And so like not by like bringing out a phone book or anything, but like you just you can just either way.
Yeah, angles.
So that's the hardcore is actually just directly to make fun of the kind of toxic masculinity that I've always been someone that really strongly advocates against, in saying feeling things is not or expressing oneself is something that everyone should feel like they are comfortable doing and able to do.
Yeah.
And also like I understand that some people don't kind of jive with that and don't mess with my content because it's like, why does he talk like that? Whatever it is. Well, like I don't mind. I'm doing me the most authentic way I possibly can. It's not like it wasn't like a business decision to like do that and act that way. That's just really me outwardly projecting how it feels to be streaming and have people watching me play RuneScape. That's how it feels to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway, so it still like irks me a bit when people make those comments because I'm like, I just hate that that's a thing in the world.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I know it's really not about me. It's about themselves and the world itself. So yeah, that's the Tall and Manly name and where it came from. And it's a fun joke with my Twitch chat because obviously the people that know me well and have given my content a chance, they know. They know what's good. They know the deal.
That's so funny. No, people are miserable. Like it's crazy the things that people will say in like the most random places. Like, why are you on a RuneScape video in the comments section like talking about someone's like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
What are you doing with your life right now? Reassess.
Also, like, the adage of like, don't make mean comments about things from people that they can't change, and it's like my voice sounds like this. And you know what's funny? It actually sounded, this is kind of part of it too. My voice was actually deeper before I started streaming, but I've been working my voice like this for 10 years. And now my voice sounds like I've actually permanently damaged my voice and people are making fun of it. If you really want to look at it that way, which like, that's not how I look at it, but that makes it even funnier to me. It's like, wow, okay.
No, I honestly, I get the same thing too. Oh my God, your voice is annoying. How can anyone listen to that? It's like, why?
I get comments where like it's like my existence is like an inconvenience to them, where it's like, I would love to get into this guy's content, but I just can't because his voice makes me want to stab pins in my eyes. And I'm like, well, how is that my problem? That can't like possibly be my problem. That has to be your problem.
No, it's 100%.
That cannot be a me problem. That is out of my domain.
Is there any like one comment that really like stands out to you that was just like so funny or?
I don't know. I don't want to encourage people leaving like really unhinged comments because like sometimes like if you give it attention, like I used to public unban requests.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening is people just became worse in my unban requests.
Oh, they like intentionally
because I was turning it into content, so they would just wanna get the attention or whatever, so they'd get more and more unhinged. So it's one of those things where I'm gonna say like just in general, it doesn't even apply to me. Just try to be kind to people and be understanding.
Nice.
And if you think that someone did something specifically to slight you or hurt you, please at least take a second to consider that it could be something that is completely external and maybe was not about you or intentional at all. I think there's so much jumping to conclusions these days where people just immediately like something happens, they're just war ready, let's go instantly. And it's like, just take a second, just breathe, talk it out, communicate. Yeah, so there isn't a particular comment I think is the funniest. I don't like any of the negative comments, but I live with all of them.
Oh, I'll tell you, I think my favorite one, it's not even that bad. It was actually really creative. It was someone said, this is really helpful, but I couldn't finish watching it because something about the music playing and the cadence of your voice gave me motion sickness.
That's really good.
It's like, what?
Ever put in. Like, I'm always so happy with that. That's so funny. Oh, that's actually awesome. Yeah, no, see, that I can get behind. Like, stuff like that I love. I love when it's not a mean-spirited thing. It's just like a... It's like a...
Like, what even?
A genuine, like, I don't know how this happened either, but it happened. And this is where we are now. I just took a gravel to watch the rest of your guide. Like...
So is there anything else that you want to say before we say goodbye?
Is there any, did you have other questions? We can rapid fire them if you'd like, but it's totally, it's up to you.
I mean, we pretty much covered a lot. I guess the only other question that I had that I didn't ask you was just, I guess it'd be a quick one. Drop tables aside, just strictly the boss. What's your favorite boss in the game?
Ooh, good question. See, I go through eras where I really get into a boss, and the boss I've got the highest kill count at is Telos.
Okay.
And when I pushed to 4K Telos, that was the most fun I ever had because it was like at the point where the Telos was a lot harder than it is now. And I don't mean that in like Telos is ruined now. Like the game evolves, like, you know, don't be stuck in the past. But for the time that I did it, which was like right after Archaeology, but before EOFs came out, like I had to really improve so much to be able to do 4K Telos.
Yeah.
And I loved that. I loved the grind for that. I loved the grind for Duo Hard Mode Virago as well for the time period where I had to work so hard and it was so rewarding to do. It's funny because I think people sometimes have a misconception that because I'm really big on accessibility in PVM.
Yeah.
So people think that it's like self-serving, but it's really not. The things that I've enjoyed the most are the things that like I died 85 times in a row. I'm just self-aware enough to understand that for the average player, if they die 85 times, they're done, going back. They've quit the game and they're playing other games.
Yeah.
And you need to give users a game that they actually enjoy. I just think there's something wrong with me. I'm really liking Sanctum. I will say, like the movement mechanic is probably my favorite singular mechanic in the game because it's so satisfying to complete. There's just no better feeling than like I described it in playtesting with the devs in one of the chats. I was like, just some feedback on Sanctum. I feel like I'm Neo from the Matrix. And I'm just dodging everything, and I've like slowed time down, and it felt good. And yeah, but I mean, if I had to pick one, we'll go the boss I've killed 9,000 times. It's Telos on the board.
That's so many times.
Yeah, no. It's funny because it is, but then if you talk to Telosers,
it's
do you
like
know
not.
the Telosers? the Telosers are like, yeah, I've done 55,000 249s.
Yeah.
I just finished my 200th orb set.
When even.
So and it's funny because like 9,000 kills at any boss is a ton.
Yeah.
Comparatively,
It's a lot.
Telosers look on that and like, okay, so he's like kind of starting to get into it.
Yeah.
But I don't play a lot of RuneScape in my personal time, just because I don't have personal time, probably. But if I did, I'd be playing Sanctum right now.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. It's a good boss. I was happy. That's all I have. Do you have anything that you feel like was left out, or you want to say?
No, this was really, really fun. I enjoyed it. Just sitting back, chilling, doing some PVMing. I will say, if anyone comments that I look slightly sweaty, can I just put this out there really quick? My room is like 35 degrees Celsius when my door is closed. And my door is closed because it's 1 o'clock in the morning and there are people in my house who are sleeping. So yes, I'm absolutely baking in here and we're just going to allow it. I had an absolute blast.
What that is. 95?
Yeah, it's like my room. Yeah.
Do you not have AC?
It's not good. I do, but when my
just with everything on, yeah.
I'm in a soundproof studio room with 2 computers and me, and that's it in my room, and a cat who's behind me.
I'm so sorry you're in there like cooking.
And a cat.
And a cat.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I'm absolutely baking, but it's only like when the windows are closed, the doors closed.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it gets a little warm in here.
Holy. Okay, yeah. Well, thank you for coming. I really appreciate you taking the time to come do this with me.
No, my pleasure. It was so much fun, and I'm glad we could get a chance to.
Yeah. Thanks. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Hot PVM. If there's anyone you'd like to see come on the show, let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. As always, like, subscribe, share, and most importantly, be kind to one another. See you next time, friends.